Hello everyone, it is Toby here, feeling fresh, feeling good in the garage gym, ready to hit a really good and fun strongman events session. So we are going to be doing log press once again, still working that conditioning with the log, making sure the clean is really solid. So for the first set of our log, our first top set, we are going to be working up to a relatively heavy double, trying to increase the weight each week. And then once that double is out the way, we drop the weight back down a bit and try and do a long set of like 8 reps, cleaning every single rep to really batter that conditioning. So that's going to be really brutal to start off this session, to be honest. Cleaning every rep on a log is really hard, especially for 8 reps at a fairly decent weight as well. So it's going to be really, battering the conditioning, but it is the best thing for absolutely smashing log press and also a good bit of strongman conditioning as well. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to move into the usual accessories, being some close grip bench press. Going to be going a bit heavier on this block, so less reps, about 6 reps a set, 3 to 6, trying to be nice and heavy. And then some seated banded pin press, which is just the absolute fantastic shoulder and tricep finisher that I love to do on these sessions. It's a really, really good accessory. And then right at the end of the session, once all of that's out the way, I get to pick an optional strongman event. So today I am feeling like doing the yoke. I'm going to see how it feels, see how my knees hold up. Again, not going to smash it super, super heavy on the yoke. Just try and get technique really good, speed really good. It's just one of those events that's always good to keep ticking over. And in the locker last week I did stones, and this week I'm going to do yoke. I'm going to try and alternate between stones and yoke each week, because they are the two sort of events that are good to keep ticking over, like some form of heavy moving and then some form of stones or sandbag loads or something. Always good to have in the program in the off season, just so you're ticking them over, because they're very common at different shows. But that is the session plan out the way. A really long rambly intro, but what we're going to do is we're going to get warmed up on the log. We're going to get a heavy double under our belts, and I'm going to show you it right now. So as far as the heavy double goes, that felt pretty damn good, to be honest. The first press got out in front of me a little bit, so that's why there was sort of a 2 press motion. It rocketed off my chest slightly forward, and I sort of leant forward to get under it and lock out, but the second rep was pretty much perfect. Felt super strong. I have to remember that 107 is like just under 10 kilo off my PB. My PB is 116, so the fact it's rocketing up like that for a double is really, really nice. The clean's feeling strong. That's my weak point at the minute, so the fact that's feeling all right is good. But speaking of the clean, now it is time to work that bloody clean. So we're going to drop it down to 92 kilos, so by no means light, just lighter than the top set. And we're going to try and do 8 reps, cleaning every rep to work that clean and that conditioning. It's going to be brutal, it's going to be horrible, but we're going to get it done. So that'll be coming up just now. I'll tell you what, cleaning every rep of a log is some of the hardest cardio you will ever do. It's literally strongman burpees. Like, you're going all the way back down to the floor, deadlifting it, cleaning it, pressing it, and back down. It's pretty brutal. It's the closest strongman gets to CrossFit in a lot of ways. But yeah, doing a set of 8 like that, or I know it was 7. I just can't count to 8 apparently. Whenever I have a set of 8, I either do 7 or 9. I can never just do a set of 8. I don't know what it is. I just lost count completely. Mainly because I was just there pumping it out and I have no one here to count it for me. So, I mean, I think we'll all agree that 7 looked fairly easy strength-wise. There was no grinding on the presses or anything like that. It was just, yeah, my breathing was getting there. Towards the end, just before the 7th rep, I had a couple seconds break, but that was still in under a minute and a half, under 90 seconds. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And yeah, almost no doubt about it that I would have had an 8th rep there if I had remembered to count properly. But yeah, that's brutal, but log's feeling super good. Clean's feeling strong. Conditioning's feeling good, actually. I'm a bit of a heavier body weight again now. I'm still sitting around about 125. So the fact that conditioning's actually feeling pretty good is really good. So happy with that. Now, going to move on to the accessories. As I said, we've got close grip bench, which is the only bench variation I'm doing at the minute, actually. I'm doing incline as well, but that doesn't really count. The only flat bench I'm doing at the minute is close grip. And there's a few reasons for that, which I'll go into in just a second after I've caught my breath a bit. But we're going to be doing that a bit heavier than we have been. Again, we'll go into why in a minute. But yeah, that and banded seated pin press should finish my shoulders and triceps off, even though they really don't need finishing off, to be honest. So yeah, the reason why we're doing close grip is because in strongman, bench press is a very rarely taxed, rarely competed event. You don't see it a lot, if at all. The closest we've had in recent years has been Brian Shaw's standing bench press, and that's not made its way to any local comps or anything I'm doing. So bench really is a fantastic accessory for building tricep and chest strength. But what's even better as an accessory for building tricep strength, which is the main strength you need for overhead lifts such as the log and whatever else I'm doing, is the close grip. It puts a hell of a lot more strain on the triceps, therefore working them a hell of a lot better and making them a hell of a lot stronger, which is what we need. You will have seen that as soon as the log leaves my chest on those reps, that I snap it out straight away, and that is because I put so much emphasis on working my triceps and getting my triceps strong, specifically doing close grip bench press with weights far heavier than I can press overhead, because that just prepares the triceps for locking out that heavier weight. So once it gets to that overhead, you're in a better position. So we're going to be doing 3x6 on this. Beforehand, I've done 6 to 8 reps, so finishing about 8 reps. But that is because the log wasn't as taxing as it was today. So today we've done a heavy double and we've done a set of 8. So the triceps are already a bit sore, so we're going to go rather for more of an endurance side things. We're going to drop the weight, we're going to drop the reps down to 3 to 6. We're going to make the weight a bit heavier, and we're going to just try and get 3 to 6. Obviously, it's a rep range, so the ideal is to get 6 reps a set. But if you are nailing 6 reps a set easy, then you should definitely be upping the weight. So I like to go for a weight where I know I can probably get 1 set of 6, and then maybe a couple sets of 3 or 4, and then try and build up each week to get 3 sets of 6 and then up the weight again. And that just continues the progressive overload and keeps getting you stronger, rather than using the accessories for just a bit of a pump afterwards. You want to be progressing not only in your compounds but also in your accessories. So I'm going to get them done. And also we've got seated banded pin press. So set the pins, aka the safeties, at forehead height so that you're just doing the tricep portion of the lockout. This is in a seated overhead fashion, so no stability muscles, nothing, just pure tricep overhead strength. And then obviously the bands make it harder the further you press, so it really is nailing that lockout strength in those triceps. So it's a fantastic exercise to do after all of this pressing to really get the blood through them, finish them off. So I'm going to show you 1 set of each of those exercises because you don't need to see all of them, and then we will move on to our outdoor strongman event, which is going to be the yoke. I'll tell you what, those two exercises are an absolute culprit of looking easier than they feel. They have been absolutely brutal to do after the log. My triceps are absolutely on fire, but it means they're working. It means that we're building some really thick, strong triceps, and that is what we need. So on paper, today written down doesn't actually seem that big. It's like, just a log and then a few, couple of extra accessories, and then a strongman event. Like, it's only 3 or 4 exercises, but they're really hard. They really work, and certainly not a rest day, put it that way. So we are now done with all of the pressing portion of today's video. The one other accessory that I do after pressing is just some shoulder health stuff. So some rear delt flies, some external rotations, that sort of thing. Really boring stuff that I don't tend to keep on camera a lot, but I always make sure I mention that I do it and it is there, because that is what keeps your shoulder mobile and able to get into that lockout position. It's a real big thing a lot of strongmen struggle with, is getting their head through, because their mobility can also stop them getting that far back, and you really want to keep that mobility up there. So it's really important to keep that working. But what we're going to be doing now is we are going to be moving outside. We're going to be doing some yoke. As I mentioned, it's not going to be crazy heavy. It's not going to be crazy fast. The aim of the game today is just keep it solid, make it move nice, and just keep it ticking over, really. We're not prepping for any comps that have yoke in. We're not trying to do yoke PBs or anything. It's just one of those things that it's good to keep ticking over. And if you do any sort of moving event once per week, trust me, it'll keep you athletic, it'll keep you moving, it'll keep your core stable, and work all those muscles. You don't usually work by doing static exercises. So even if I wasn't doing strongman, I would still be keeping some form of moving event in my training anyway. It is an absolute staple, really fantastic thing to keep in. So I'm going to get moved outside. I'm going to warm up on the yoke, and I will film what I film, and I will show you it coming up next, and then we will talk about it afterwards, and some of the basic principles of how to keep a yoke solid, how to make sure that you're keeping it in the right place, all of that. We'll talk about that after I've done it. But for now, I'm going to get tidied up in here, move outside, and do some yoke. So yoke is exactly where I want it to be right now. Obviously, you know the drill. I do yoke on a wonky gravel drive. It's never going to be as good as it will be on proper surface, but getting 300 kilo for a solid run of 10 meters was really, really good. Honestly, last time I did yoke, I did 270. That felt solid. Did a 270 this time, and then thought I'd up it to 300. And yeah, it was fairly steady. It wasn't particularly groundbreakingly fast, but the main thing is it was solid on my back, solid the whole way through. Didn't feel particularly taxing, to be honest, which is good. But yeah, today's focus on the yoke really was to lock in that upper back position, keep the upper back tight. So you would have seen me wrap my hands as round the yoke as I possibly could get. So instead of cupping it like this, I really wrench my arms into the yoke to keep that upper back tightness and provide the strongest platform for the yoke along my back. And that is what I'm really focusing on in the minute, because if the yoke is solid as a rock on your back, it doesn't matter what the surface is, it doesn't matter how wobbly you are, that's not going anywhere. So it means that I can be steady across a gravel drive like this, and even though my feet are sort of sliding and wobbling all over the place, the yoke stays solid on my back and doesn't tilt side to side, which is the thing that really throws you off, and it doesn't fall off your back or anything. So if I can nail that every single week, and just keep adding the weight as we get more and more inclined to doing yoke again. As I said, this is my second session of yoke in about 6 months, so really pleased. My PB on this for an unbroken 10 meters is 320, so to be getting 300 for an unbroken 10 meters pretty solidly, not very fatigued, is really actually very good. I'm really pleased with that. So yeah, really good session today. It's one of those sessions where it doesn't feel like anything groundbreaking. It's just going through the motions. We're not hitting PBs on the log, not hitting PBs on the yoke. We did hit a PB on the close grip bench. 120 is a weight PB on that for me, so pleased with that. But it's one of those sessions which sort of goes under the radar as being not one of your best sessions. It's not going to be one that I remember, but it's one of those ones which you put in the work and it builds a really solid foundation for when you have one of those sessions where you're really pushing the boundaries on your compounds, on your strongman events. So it's good to get all different types of sessions on video for you guys, because that means you can see that if you have a session where nothing particularly notable happens, it doesn't really matter. You're building, it's building blocks. You're not going to remember every session. The main thing is you're getting in, getting it done, and you're using those building blocks to build up to something massive. So that is exactly what we're doing. As you know, we are currently on the road to 300 kilo deadlift. There are a couple of sub goals as well that I have in mind that are written on the board behind me. I'm not going to reveal what all of those are, but the main ones for me this year are I want a 300 kilo deadlift. That takes the cake on everything else. That's my main goal. And then I also want to hit a 130 log and a 200 kilo behind the back hold for 30 seconds unbroken, which is a bit of a stretch, but it's what I want to do. My grip's really good. Behind the back holds is particularly where my grip thrives as well. My current PB for 30 seconds unbroken is 180, and I've done 190 for about 15 seconds, so we're getting there. That is another real big goal of mine. I love grip. It's one of my natural strengths, and it's also just fun to do. It's not too taxing, and yeah. But anyway, that was today's session. I hope you did really enjoy it. Again, as I said, it's one of those sessions where nothing particularly notable happens, but hopefully it provided with some good watching anyway. I always love an event session. I always find them super entertaining. So I hope you guys did enjoy that, and I hope you enjoyed the video in general. And if you did, please be sure to leave a like down below. It really helps out the channel. It helps boost these videos to the algorithm and to like-minded people who might also enjoy watching some strongman content. We are absolutely gunning for 1,000 subscribers in the near future. That is another goal I want by the end of the year. We're well on to do that, just over 800 now. So if you haven't already subscribed and you think this channel might be something for you, please be sure to subscribe down below, and I'll get out weekly videos of my training plus other bits sprinkled here and there, depending on what you ask for. And speaking of what you ask for, if you want to see any sort of video, let me know in the comments below what you want to see. I reply to every single comment. That's the luxury of being a small channel at the minute. So just let me know what you want to see, and I'll let you know down below if that is something I'll do. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Toby, and I'll see you in the next video.